This is where the story really starts.
So I just came from watching Weapons. It's a new movie that released August 8th, 2025, and this is going to be a non-spoiler review of this film. This movie has some very, very familiar actors. The two most familiar actors that you'll notice are Josh Brolin, who plays Thanos in the MCU, and Julia Garner, who recently played the female Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four First Steps. The story follows Julia Garner's character. She goes by the name of Justine Gandhi, a teacher who finds that all but one of the students in her class has vanished. And it's not just Justine, it's also Josh Brolin's character and a bunch of other characters. There's a lot of hype for this movie online. I hadn't watched any trailers, so I wanted to see what the hype was all about. The character writing for this movie is out of this world. It's pretty good. It's pretty good for a horror movie. Okay, it's not a horror, it's more like a horror mystery. Not like a horror, not like something like Terrifier. It's a horror mystery. It's pretty good for horror. The way the movie goes out of its way to flesh out every single character and give them a life and a personality and some good dialogue. And this dialogue, the characters talk, you're able to read in between the lines and know what's happening in between. So that the movie utilizes every single element of what a good movie is supposed to have. Things like foreshadowing, subtle hints and cues, symbolism. The editing is also pretty good. There's scenes that are shot in a way that just enhances the experience of the film. You experience what some of these characters are feeling and thinking as they're experiencing this whole issue. The premise is that there are these kids who disappeared, and the way they disappeared is very weird because they all disappeared all at once, and it looks like they just came out of their houses and just ran away. If you've ever watched the TV show Lost, yeah, it's like Lost meets Strange Darling meets The Black Phone, something like that. Lost obviously is a very old TV show, but in Lost they had multiple characters, and then they would have this character storyline, then this character storyline, then this character storyline, and then sort of like jumble it up. Strange Darling has the same thing, but Strange Darling does it out of order, and Black Phone is about some missing kids. So this movie kind of reminded me of those three shows that I've watched before. Now let me go into some negatives. This movie is 2 hours long, and the first hour to me, the pacing was kind of weird. Sometimes it felt slow, sometimes it felt fast. I think it's because the movie, the first hour, is mostly just setting up. It's setting up which character is which, their lives, who they are, and their relationships between each character. I just felt like the pacing was all over the place. There are some scenes that are very dark. Some scenes that are very, very dark. Especially there's this one house where the windows have been covered with newspapers. So whenever they are shooting anything inside there, some of those ones are pretty, pretty dark. The other issue that I have is that these kids that go missing, we never met them before they went missing. There's a narration that starts the whole film and then just says that kids disappeared. I wish the way the movie is pretty solid, I won't deny. But I wish the way it would have started is that it would have started with first we would see maybe Justine with the kids like playing, and then we see the dynamic between teacher and the kids, and then the dynamic between each of the children, and then after that now we can start hearing the voiceover from one of the kids who we just saw. I don't think we ever get to know which kid is narrating. If you watch this movie, maybe you can tell me, did we ever get to know who the kid who is narrating, did we ever get to know which kid that was? I don't think I ever got to know, but it doesn't really matter anyway. That's part of the thing about good movies. They don't have to give you every detail. You just have to fill in some of it for yourself. Other than those minor issues, I found the movie to be pretty solid. And out of 10, I would give this movie an 8. Yeah, I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. I can't remember the last time I watched a horror movie that had so much effort put into it and with such clever execution. Let me call it that way, clever execution. It's not your typical horror. And I know this premise of kids going missing has been done many times, but wow, I thought this one was pretty good. I thought this was pretty good. For more reviews, make sure to check out these ones on your screen. Tell me what you thought of Weapons if you watched it. If you have not watched it, you should definitely go watch it. It's not super scary in my opinion, but in terms of its storytelling, I think it's one of the best films of this year. It's one of the best. I'll see you in the next one.